here in Celina here. I don't plan on coming back. I mean, I was just here to pick up some bike parts. See, my bike needed, so I was wearing out parts faster than I realized. But oh, I gotta take that up. Anyhow, yeah. So I was just here to get bike. My bottom bracket was starting to go wearing out, and I think my free hub's kind of wearing out. I put the new cassette on here, the new micro shift, and there's still some play, but I think the play is coming from the free hub. I just think it either needs overhaul or it might be just cheaper. Believe it or not, it's cheaper just buying another wheel. So it's very wasteful because the cost of overhauling a hub and the free hub, taking that off and cleaning all those bearings out and possibly replacing it with bearings and repacking it, with grease and putting it all back together might be the same price as a wheel. Yeah, I mean, as far as labor cost, and I mean, so I would have to really weigh that out, but it's better. It's not as much play. That was a junky cassette, though. I would never buy that brand, so I'm using the what originally came with the bike, which was micro shift. So anyway, shift's nice though. It's a very nice shifting, smooth shifting. I went through all the gears from low to high, then high to low, and it shifts just fine. So I shall to a bike shop and see how much money I have, and maybe replace the back wheel again, which I think is totally wasteful, but that might be my only real option there. And I got a good rim on this too. The sun rims are pretty good. So I got the bike cleaned up. I washed everything, trailer, bicycle, everything got cleaned up real nice. And, the trailer was pretty dirty, had a lot of leaves in there and junk. That trailer accumulates a lot of just debris. And washed the bike down so the bike looks a lot nicer too. So we shall see when I get to near some bike shops. There's a couple. I think there's one in there's a Giant dealer. I think it's down in Greenfield, Indiana. There, the way I'm gonna be going. So there's a couple bike shops in Muncie, but I think one's a trick dealer. I'm not sure what the other guy carries as far as brand names. But I'm probably gonna try to deal with the Giant dealer. See if they have any wheels. And believe it or not, it's sometimes cheaper to just replace the whole wheel than. These are cheap hubs. This Formula hub probably on here is a no-name hub. I bought this a couple years ago at a Gemini bike shop down in near North Canton, Ohio. They're on Everhard Road, so because I actually wore out the original wheel. The free hub on that one died out. So it could have probably been fixed like anything. Those free hubs are fixable. Even the generic ones or the no-name ones, they're actually replaceable, or they're even fixable too. You can put new bearings, new pawls, new springs. It's like 3 pawls for these cheap free hubs here. That's what drives them, just 3 little pawls. So I took a bath too, so that's all done. I'm all good to go for tonight. All I have to do is just go up and make camp one more night here. Then I will be getting up my usual early, and then I can hit the road. I can finally leave. There's nothing holding me back now. I don't got no orders or anything. If I need to get any orders in the future, I would just send them to a different postal office. Uh, any post office, they don't have to be Celina. So they're probably happy not to see me here no more. Well, that one lady was complaining, oh, you only got to the end of the month, and all this nonsense. So I got new wheels for the trailer, so that's a good thing. So the trailer should be good to go. Everything's much cleaner now. So it's been very busy for me here, just working on the bike, getting the bike roadworthy again. I didn't realize how I wore out so many parts on it, but it does happen. Let's see. Exodus here, starting to book at Exodus finally. So I think tomorrow I'm going to head for Coldwater down the bike trail, then head towards Fort Recovery. Instead, I'm not going to take 29 out like I did last time. That was awful. Just not a good way to get out. Go to Indiana. Not for me, it wasn't. I'm going to just go down and take the bike trail down to Fort Recovery and go that way, maybe. Yeah, and just that'd be my way out of Ohio. So let's see. I found my little poker thing too. It was in the trailer. It fell out of my pouch. I'm glad to find that thing again. So let's see. Start Exodus chapter 1 here. Let's see. Exodus, which means departure. Tomorrow's my departure, my Exodus from Celina. So I'm very happy about it. I'm finally leaving. My little woods I've been staying in is getting more and more open because the leaves are dropping off the trees. And with the wind and all that knocks with rain, and rain knocks leaves off trees, and then the wind. So that's not going to be available much longer for me anyway. So let's see, Exodus, the second book of Moses called Exodus. It says, now these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt. It says, every man and his household came with Jacob. It says, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls. For Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all their generation. This is verse 6. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty. And the land was filled with them, meaning filled with the children of Israel. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that, when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And he built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom, and Ramesses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. Talk about the Egyptians. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service, wherein they made them serve, was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared God, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have ye done this thing, and have saved the men children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively, and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. Therefore God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared God, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. And chapter 2 says this, and there went a man of the house of Levi, and took to wife a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could no longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off, to wit what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along the river side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him, and said, this is one of the Hebrews' children. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away, and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses, for she said, because I drew him out of the water. Moses was actually an Egyptian name, but Moses, of course, we know was a Hebrew, an Israelite there. And it came to pass in those days, when Moses was grown. So some years passed here in verse 11 here, that he went out unto his brethren, and looked on their burdens. And he spied an Egyptian, smiting an Hebrew, one of his brethren. This is talking about Moses here. And he looked this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian, and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? And he said, so here's the man that did his fellow wrong here. He said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me, as thou killedst the Egyptian? And Moses feared, and said, surely this thing is known. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh, and dwelt in the land of Midian, and sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. Remember, Midian was one of the sons of Keturah, by Abraham there. This was after the death of Sarah, his wife. So, verse 17 says, "And the shepherds came and drove them away, but Moses stood up and helped them, and watered their flock. And when they came to Reuel their father, he said, How is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, And the Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, And where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and gave Moses Zipporah his daughter. And she bare him a son, and called his name Gershom. For he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage, and they cried. And their cry came up unto God by reason of the bondage. And God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. So God remembered his covenant with the children of Israel. Just like today, God still remembers his covenant with them. I'm going to get my yellow highlighter here. Yeah. There we go. So God still feels this way about the children of Israel. God hasn't forgotten about them, in spite of all the anti-Semitism in the world and the hatred for the Jewish people in the world. But yet God hasn't forgotten about the children of Israel in the least bit. Let's see. I like this here. Let me read this again. This is chapter 2, verses 24 and 25 here in Exodus. And God heard their groaning, talk about the children of Israel. And God remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. So I highlighted that there because it's very important. Yeah. Take a couple of headache tablets here. Yeah, I'm going to be making my big exodus out of Celina tomorrow, though. I'm looking forward to that. Going back into Indiana, but this time down to the Hoosier, down to the forest. And we'll see what happens, take it one step at a time. I gotta get toilet paper in the morning too. I gotta get to that. Get at Real Foods. I kind of laid low here in Celina when I came back here. I didn't want to get too much attention my way, So I'm really glad to be able to leave again, though. Down here. I'll be back to the preaching, though. I'm on the road. Preaching again. Getting back to that gospel preaching, too. So let's see. Chapter 3 here says, Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb. And the angel of the Lord. So just a little note about Midian was actually in Arabia. It's in modern day Saudi Arabia in the northwest part of the country there. So that's where Midian was, the land of Midian. And Mount Horeb, which is Sinai, which is in Midian. You know, it's not in Egypt, it's in Midian. East of Egypt, east. Okay. Verse 2 says here, And the angel of the Lord, and Lord's in all caps there, so it's about Jehovah there, appeared unto him, talking about Moses, in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when the Lord, there's Jehovah there, saw that he turned aside to see God, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. And he said, this is God speaking here. It says, Draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. So God identifies himself as the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters. For I know their sorrows, and I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto a place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. You know, I forgot to put my towel out. Hold on. There we go. I got it. I have put my towel out. Forgot about that. Pretty here. Guys, it started to get dark, you know, about 7. I start getting that tent pitched. Let's see. Okay. So here's what God says. Verse 17, and I have said, this is God speaking here, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come, thou and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt, and ye shall say unto him, The Lord God of the Hebrews hath met with us. And now let us go, we beseech thee, 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go, no, not by a mighty hand. And I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the sight thereof. I will do in the midst thereof, and after that he will let go. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And it shall come to pass that when ye go, ye shall not go empty. But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and of her that sojourneth in her house, jewels of silver, and jewels of gold, and raiment, and ye shall put them upon your sons and upon your daughters, and ye shall spoil the Egyptians. So God's going to make sure that the Egyptians are going to be, the children of Israel are going to be paid back for their service that they did to the Egyptians, because they were slaves, so they weren't paid for their labor. But God's going to spoil the Egyptians, so the children of Israel will have some kind of money, some kind of wealth when they leave. So I'm going to leave off here, chapter 4 here, in my little Bible here. So, all right, viewers. I want to say thank you again for watching here. It's always been a pleasure for you to watch. And as you can see here, this is my final night here. I'm going to be making my big exodus too out of this city of Celina. I didn't expect to be here this long. Maybe a week or something, but man, I was here like 2-3 weeks maybe. So I'm glad to be able to depart and get back on the road here. So yeah, so it's not a place I would honestly want to live, Celina. It's just nothing here. It's supposed to be jobs here, but I haven't got one job here. And I looked and put in so many applications and made nothing. So pretty disappointing for me. So I think they only hire illegals, especially Cooper Farms. I know they only hire illegals, illegal Mexicans and Guatemalans. If you're American, they won't even consider hiring you. No job for you if you're American. So that's just the way it is here. All right. So thank you for watching here. And I will be back on the road again. So get some video when I'm in Indiana there. All righty. Have a real good day.